This is a quick overview of the Excel 2 project. So hopefully you did the Excel 1 project, because if you did, this is very, very similar and you'll just breeze right through it. But let me walk you through it and point out some of the differences. So you're going to use the same techniques as I said in the Excel 1 project. You're going to create a blank workbook to start with and name it correctly. And then you're going to take this data that's in a Word document and you're going to copy and paste it into the Excel worksheet on the Excel workbook on the second worksheet. And then if you're following along with the instructions, you're going to format, you're going to wrap some text, you're going to sort the data, and then you're going to add conditional formatting, and then it's going to look like this. So you can see that even if I make this wide, it stays wrapped. If a value goes down low, like to 300, the conditional formatting goes off. If it goes over 550, then the conditional formatting is applied. And then you're going to name the whole range of data. We've done that in past projects. And I think that's the first part. Yeah, we're going to call it inventory, and that's part 1. Part 2 is you're going to set up this lookup worksheet. And again, it's just like the Excel 1 project, where you're going to be able to put in a code. So let's put in a different code, BU6018C, and everything's going to change. All these values are going to display. This one has met the sales goal, so it's going to display a little sales goal message. This is going to change. The title of the chart is going to change based on the item name. You've got last year's sales here. You've got some of this year's sales. So all it's doing is using a bunch of VLOOKUPs, right? Finding the code, and then displaying whichever column, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So you've got 11 columns of data that are being pulled over with various VLOOKUPs. So that's how this part works. So if you look at this, I've highlighted all the cells that are going to use VLOOKUPs. So these are all VLOOKUPs, all these yellow ones. And then these other cells are formulas that you're going to write. So we've got a title with a comment that you can read. We've got a date that changes every time. Remember, with the VLOOKUP, you have to be sure you have a valid code here. Otherwise, all your VLOOKUPs down here won't work, because this is where you're grabbing which code you're looking up. Let's see what else. The formulas are going to be last year's quarterly sales, which you can see you've used VLOOKUPs for these, and then you're going to have a total there. That's a formula. You have profit, then markup percent is how much it's been marked up based on the cost. And then you have a couple of if statements, just like in Excel 1. Needed to meet the sales goal, you're going to use an if statement so that if they've already met it, a negative number isn't displayed. And then if they have reached the sales goal, you're going to display this little message. And if they haven't, let me give you an example of one that hasn't. FH5041A. Right, they still need to sell 1,320 more, so there's no message displayed. Then you're going to create a chart, and again, it uses gradients, it uses colored font, displays the data labels, and the title changes, and there's all that in the tips or the overview area if you need more on that. Then you're going to protect it, so again, you can't modify anything except for this code. We did that in the grade calculator and Excel 1. So you should be able to change this, but no other values on there, no password either. And then you're going to use an if error. So what if error does is if you type in junk, it just says invalid inventory code. Or if you type in a code like EU5017C that doesn't exist, it should also give you an invalid error code. So it should go over here to the inventory items, find that that one is not one of them that's there, and then give you an error message. Just here, invalid error code, invalid inventory code, then everything else should stay blank. Then you're going to create some pivot tables. So let me show you what those are going to look like. So you've got this pivot table, sales by department and quarters. So this is last year's quarters and the different departments in your data. You have another one, the cost price averages by department. So you want to format that correctly and create a chart with it. And the third one is one that you create, so it should be something that you can't see by looking at the data alone. Take advantage of what the pivot table or pivot chart features do. And then this is just some filtering. So you're going to filter based on cost here, and then sort it, and then you're going to sort it on cost, and then you're going to filter on whichever ones are already highlighted, so that meant they were higher than 550, and you're going to sort that on the item name, and then you're going to create another one here, your own creation. So let me see what else filtering on that. Oh, I just wanted to show you something about filtering on this second one. So if you wanted to get some information about the filtering, you can set down here, which is your status bar. So if you wanted to know like the average of all these selling prices, if you click on here, you can see I've got the average, the count, numerical counts. There are 19 items, 20 including the heading, the min, the max, and the sum, and the average over here. And if you highlight it, you get all that for each column. So sometimes when you're filtering, it can be pretty neat, pretty great actually, because I always say if you're at a meeting and someone's asking questions about your data, they'll say, you know, well, which had the top sales or something like that. You can just filter on it and see what the max was or see what the min was. Or anyway, it's just a nice feature of Excel. You don't have to do anything with it for this project, but just know about it. And then go back and check your worksheet over, make sure everything's in the right order, you've included everything, you've formatted everything correctly, and then be sure you submit correctly. Check your submission, check your upload, download it again to another folder, and make sure that it's the right project and everything is good. And that's it. Pretty straightforward. And oh, I forgot to mention couple other things. Sorry. You want to go back here and put in the challenges you had with the project and how it exceeded expectations. So read about that in the instructions. And then these are spark lines. And so there's a tip on spark lines. So be sure you check that out if you haven't used them before. They're kind of fun. And now that's it.